Good evening, everybody. Sorry I'm running a bit late. I was busy playing Penny Lane, and it's super easy and super fun till it's not. And so that's what I was dealing with, was how to make it fun even in the not fun parts. Um, hey, Chuck Gary Ugert. Forget the last name. It's irrelevant. It's too complicated. 6 letters. I don't know. If I'm German and I'm moving to Russia, I'm changing my name to something a little easier. Um, the, the crises that we face, right? Jolly Roger Ukulele. We are working on 3 Beatles tunes tonight. They are Norwegian Wood. We're finishing that up. I'm going to burn the house down. Obladi Oblada. We're going to try to get a little bit of rambunctiousness into it. And then we're going to be looking at Penny Lane. Penny Lane is super fun to play, except it's kind of fiddly. And I think it's one of my more favorite melodies that they came up with. And I think that it will sound good on the ukulele, but I do think it takes a little bit more work than sometimes I'm willing to put in. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully you'll be like, yeah, come on, like bring it on. All right, so I got the penny lanes in the book. LG is in. Monetization is on. Doggone it, I know I hit that. Thanks, LG. Let me go fix that. I could fix that in the midst of these broadcasts. So if I go to... Where do I fix that at? I fix it. Oh, I fix it here. And I know. Well, so I know what happened as I scrolled up. It said monetization is off, and I'm like, sweet. I'm not, that's weird. It's always on. All right. Now it is off. Thank you, LG. I apologize. It was. I checked it. It said off. It always says on because they want to play ads for you. And and so I thought, well, maybe they're telling me the truth. And of course they were not. They are liars. Let's see. All right, let's put some music into my playlist. Let's see. How do you spell Obladi? There it is. Obladi Ukulele, Obladi Baritone, and then Penny Lane, LMNOP. Penny Lane, Penny Lane, Penny Lane, Penny Lane. Baritone, Penny Lane, ukulele. All right, we're ready to rock. Okay, so let's grab. Hey Jennifer, good evening. Quemos, harmonica, no ukulele. Glad to be here. What? Oh, harmonica, no ukulele in hand. You gotta read your punctuation properly, right? You see those websites where they have punctuation fails, and there's really funny things. Who'd have thought punctuation was so much fun? All right, harmonica is coming. It's coming. We had a problem with her harmonica arriving via the spaceship shooting off billionaire is not sending her a harmonica, and we're trying to work that out. We're trying to figure that out. Elizabeth. Thunderstorms. Oh yeah, right. The thunderstorms roll through, and your Wi-Fi and your electricity and all that. We forget how dependent we are on this stuff. Elizabeth, I've got your emails, and I apologize. I haven't been able to read them. I see them come through, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to read those, and I haven't read them yet, but I will. I will. All right. What did I say we're doing first? We are doing Norwegian Wood. Let's go get that Norwegian Wood on the ukulele. All right, so our big point with this guy is remember your repeats. Okay, so and I think I goofed this up last week. 0 through 8 twice, right? And then we're going to play that first set of lyrics down to 40. Then we're going to come back all the way to, I think. Am I doing this right? Yeah, all the way to number 9. And then we're going to go from number 9 all the way back to 40. Okay? So we're going to go to number 9. And then we're going to go back to number 9 yet again. Okay? So it's both repeats, go back to number 9. But that last time, the third time through, I'm drawing myself a big old arrow at the coda. On the third time we hit the end of 24, we're going to jump over to number 41. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I know I'm pretty sure that's the one I goofed up last week. And then the only other thing I'm recommending on this is your very last chord is an F chord. But the problem with that is it ends with an A on the bottom, and it's just not that great, right? If you go up, you still end up with an A. So it's just not the F chord you're looking for. The F chord you're looking for is bar 5, pinky on 8. That's the F chord you want. And so try 5, 5, 5, 8 as your last chord when we get there. I think you will prefer it. Okay. Baritones, you are in the key of F, which is not a great key for you. And it gets pretty ugly when you go through here. So hopefully you had a chance to look up these chords. These are not actually, although these are pretty standard issue stuff for ukulele. Not standard issues. These are level 3 chords in this thing. But it's really tough on baritone. All right. Let's see how we do. And it's supposed to be pretty jaunty. A quarter note equals 180. It's pretty fast. Okay, let's see how we do. I'm not going to do 180. 1, 2, 3. 17. Back to 9. I didn't do that rhythm right. To number 9, go. To the top, or up to 9, one last time, go. I messed up the ending there just a little bit. As I'm playing along, I'm thinking, wait, now I remember what I was supposed to do this week. I was supposed to fix this for baritone, and I did not do that. So, don't turn the page. Don't turn the page. One, how about that? That sounds okay. Decent song. Kind of repetitive though. You notice one of the disappointing things when you study music from, like, if you love a band and you're like, oh, I'm going to learn everything about Beatles, you start to find out there's not a ton of song here. It's fine. But it's extremely repetitive. Like, once you get that opening section done, you've pretty much got the whole thing done, except that weirdo bridge there in 25 through 32. That's a little bit well, and then that repeats, right? And so you're like, there's not as much music as I thought there was in this song. So it's a tiny bit, I don't know, I guess it's a tiny bit like, what the heck's going on, man? Come on, Paul, John, step it up. Since, this is brain power, okay? Since I did not do a baritone version, painful uke version, and since I'm a little dissatisfied with the tough uke as being adequate for your skill level, we're going to play the baritone version of this from the ukulele music. Okay, so the tablature will look identical when I repost this week, because I forgot last week. Once you're done with the lesson, you walk out and you're like, okay, I survived. I didn't catch on fire. Then whatever you said in the lesson goes away. This is why I don't recommend playing music at all. It just hurts your head. So we're going to play the baritones from the ukulele tab. Okay. Now, ukulele people, this means you're in the key of C. So not only do you have to all of the F's will now be C's, and then everything else gets converted along. And it's probably more than your brain's going to be able to do on the spot, unless you're a jazz musician fully trained, and then it's no big deal. But I don't know of any of you guys are doing that. So we're going to play the baritone version from the ukulele tablature. And of course, I think if you're on ukulele, just look for these. When you see an F chord, knock out some C chords, and then let us carry the rest of it, right? There's 8 gajillion F chords in here, and obviously F minor it would turn into your C minors, right? So you could do those. F, G, A. Oh, your B flats are going to be Fs. So that problem is that the Fs are Cs, and now the B flats are Cs. The Fs are Cs. The B flats are Fs. The F minors are C minors, and the E flats are too hard. They're just too much, right? And the G minor seventh, just skip them. Okay. All right. Let's play baritone ukulele from a ukulele tab. This won't be the first time you have to do this in your life. And I'm going to do the whole thing with claw, just for fun, just for something different. 1, 2. Now it's a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3. Measure 9, go. Oh, you're supposed to skip, Gary. Go all the way over to 41. Sorry, 41 and go. I wonder if that should be longer. Yeah, we need a whole nother add a measure right there to make that ending a little more simple. Add a measure. It should be 101 final. All right, so I apologize. I didn't get I totally spaced working on that this week. So that's not, you guys are used to me. You know, that's not uncommon with me. So I'll get it up. I'll get it fixed this week and posted. And if I do, which I will, because I do what I say I'm going to do, we will revisit that one more time next week. But in the meantime, let's go look at the Obladi Oblada. And I think what I might do with Norwegian Wood is try to add, like, when you hit those minor 7th chords, it just sounds so nice. I'm going to see if there's anywhere else we can toss in some minor 7ths. We don't need to use necessarily the chords the Beatles used. We have options. All right. Number Obladi Oblada, we talked about a lot of stuff last week about sort of stylistic things, right? So there's nothing to the song itself, but we want to take advantage of our right-hand skill set and see what we can come up with. So in the beginning, let's do open strum. Desmond, Desmond, da 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 dun 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 dun. And then the C chord. Da 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 dun. Oh, and then I wrote plug. Dun. Back to your open strum at 5. Da 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 dun 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 da 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 dun dun. And then we go to real tough uke. Oh wait. Put your real G chord on. It's going to be better. Gosh, come on, Gary. Okay, so you gotta be, man, you gotta be on that if you're gonna play it that fast. I will try to be. And then this 10, so hit this note, slide up, and then back to your regular thing. So let's try to do that, right? So just be very thummy and very just what the tab says through that little section there from 8.5 through 16. Then after we do the repeat and we come down to DSL quota. So then when we come back to 16, then we're going to carry on, and I think we talked about using straight claw through this 17. Bam, bam. Right? And then I remember Elizabeth saying, hey, let's try this 5-4, 5-3-2-0 as we're slowing down. Ha, 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 ha. And then bump, bump, bump. Let's try it. See what happens. All right, so you're looking at the ukulele version. And anytime you have open strum, ideally you practice enough where you can pull out the melody. I'll probably be humming the melody just in case I can't, right? Just so you know where we are. Okay. All right. Kind of fast. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Change the finger style. Okay, now we go back to the top. So I want to practice that section, that 7 there, because we can get, because it's actually very cool, but you get, I even wrote the word focus, right? So G, G, pinky, G, D, pinky, G. Probably roll down with your ring finger there. So let's try 7 again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Yeah, so try not to hit that top string. Maybe strum up. Strum up. Ba-dum, 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 dum, dum, dum. Yeah, then you get the G sound at the top. So do an up strum there. Up strum. That way if you hit the wrong note, if you hit the first string, it won't matter. Okay, just measure 7 one last time so I can get it right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. Go. Okay, to 17. Let's all start at the same spot at 17. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, where am I on? There. Slow it down. That's probably way too much. Over there, to measure 1. Get ready, go. Skip to the very end. So I think at 16, yeah, see, it's woohoo, and I wrote tremolo question mark. I think probably better, especially if we're going to play a ha 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 slowing down. This would be your. How can you make that work? I don't know. Not finding the right solution there. But mess around with it, find out your best ending. That's kind of fun, right? Let's try it real quick on the baritone. Okay, ukulele, you got your D chord, A chord, and G chord. And that's it, right? Yeah, 3 chords. One of the things when you spend too much time playing fingerstyle ukulele, you're like, everything has to be bunk, 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 bunk. And then when you get to something like this, it can be a whole different challenge, right? Because you're trying to bring some enthusiasm and rock and rolly and fast and all this stuff into a place where you might just be just as fine. Right, that's how we would usually do it. In fact, let's do it that way, just for fun. Just for fun. Okay, do it straight up, tough uke style. Am I all blurry? I'm blurry. There we go. Let's just do it straight tough uke all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4. number 1, back to fingerstyle, go. There we go. That's silly, right? That's silly. It's kind of fun. I think the message I'm trying to send is when you get a goofy song like this, try all of the possible goofy ways, including the non-goofy ways, and then when you get ready to decide, yep, I'm going to put this into my repertoire, that you use every tool at your disposal and just see what happens. See how far you can take it. It probably made a lot more sense playing it fingerstyle and slower, but it probably doesn't fit the idea of the song that much. And so, yeah, kind of fun. Next week we'll wrap that up. One way or another, we'll have enough of that. All right, Penny Lane. Let's talk Penny Lane. I was working on this before, and I was like, this is a book 2 song. This is really not complicated until you get to the end. And then it's like, oh, now I see why this is not in book 2. So let's walk through it and see if we can get started. Beautiful melody on this. Again, a teeny tiny bit repetitive. And Beatles were coming into that era where we just repeat the chorus or the main idea 57 times so it gets stuck in your head, and then you can sell more albums. And so that's all the music is these days. That's just, here's the hook and that's it. And so tiny bit of an oversimplification, but that's the main idea, is to sell, right? And since all music is free now, they got to get it where it sells you hard enough that you go buy a ticket and go to their overpriced concert. Penny Lane. Let's take a brief moment to review. If you are on baritone, you're in the key of E. This is a good key for you. If you are on ukulele, you are in the key of A. This is a good key for you. Okay, so we're going to do it. We're going to study it on ukulele, but everything's the same on baritone. Okay, so you've got your A chord. In Penny Lane, there is a lot. How about I put a tuner on this so that it's kind of close to the sound that's coming out of your perfectly tuned ukulele. Okay, so we'll close. All right. In Penny Lane there is a da 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 dum. Is that a perfect A minor? Right? Dum da 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 da. And then you got A minor 6. That's another cool chord. Da 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 dun dun dun. Now, how many times have you done an F chord with the 3 on the top? Right? Technically an F major 7. Most of the time it's just an F with an added 3, but in this case it really feels like something special. Go, stop and say hello. They take a basic chord progression and make it really interesting. So just sing through with it. Don't hum through it with me. Da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da dun. Da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 dum. Da 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 dum 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 dum. Da 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 dum. Da da da. Okay. Okay, right. So the chords, while they're simple chords, just the progression of them and just enough added notes create you this place. Love easy three baritone tunes. Everybody loves easy three chord songs, right? That's Obladi Oblada. These chords are not your basic three chords. They're taking what are not terribly difficult chords, but they're putting them in such a way as they're really accentuating each other, and they just feel like there's something different in them than the usual stuff. So when you get to that A minor 7, that's just that, right? But it really works at this moment. And then to switch over to A minor 6, you're adding a little bit of kind of coolness to it, which makes this F major 7 really cool. And I mean, we've made this chord all the way back to Brahms' Lullaby. I mean, that's been how long you've been doing that chord, and it is incredible in this context. Okay, so then what they do at major 9, the second time we come down through, notice on their E7 on the tab part, they're adding this note here. They're adding a C underneath the E7. So it's say pouring rain. Again, just one half step added creates this tension that's like crazy, and then solves it, and then cleans it up. We're still in a 7th chord. This is like a 7th chord on steroids. And then you go into a D chord. Like, what? Right, that really like does a number on it. D is okay because we're in the key of A, and that's D, A, B, C, D is your 4th, right? But it's not just your regular 4th. It's your minor 7th sounding D. Okay, and you can just feel it's going to go normal after that, right? Penny Lane is in my down. Okay, now there's the skies, and now they're going to mess with us. Dum, 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 dum. See how they were working that? This is very, very smart musicianship here. I mean, I criticize the Beatles all the time because sometimes they take the day off. But here we're working at some pretty smart choices musically. Coming out, the G and the C, those are exactly what we'd expect. And then in major 16, when they get to this C major 7th, add the C back in, E7, this G sharp here really digs into that E7 sound. Okay, so it's not quite resolved, and it's still not resolved, and then we go back to the main idea. What I would do, I think, on these 8th notes is give them a tiny bit of a swing. Meanwhile, back in Penny Lane, there is a fireman. In Penny Lane, there is a fireman with an hourglass. I don't have those. That can't be right. There is a fireman with an hourglass? Is that what he does? I don't know if that's the right lyric. It's got to be. Penny Lane, there is a fireman with an hourglass. Bum. And in his pocket is a portrait of the Queen. So give it a little bit of a oompa doompa doompa doomp feeling through there. I think you'll like it. Even though the sheet music says 8th note, 8th note, 8th note, 8th note, don't take the sheet music too seriously. If you can make it better, right? And so. And then we get that half note, bwam, let it ride out. And then on on to page 3. Again, that regular F chord we do all the time sounds special there. And here's that weirdo E7 with the C on the top. Okay, we're going to stop it there. We're just going to put this brakes on. And then we're going to do the repeat. Okay, and so that repeat's going to take you all the way back to, where does that go back to? Well, it goes all the way back to page 11. I'm sorry, measure 11. Do I have that right? Yeah, when we get to 25, you're going to go to number 11. You probably better write that on there, or you will for sure do what I'm doing, which is, where the heck do I go back? So you're going to come back to 11. I'm going to draw a little arrow there. Put my orange highlighter on. Okay, and then we're going to come back and play when we get to 23. Then we're going to jump to the end. And now here's where things kind of are going to get non-book 2y real fast. Okay, so come over to measure 26 and play with me for just a minute. Okay, so at 26, same thing, coming out of that weird E7. We go back to the main idea in the middle of 27. Go. That's all stuff we've seen already. Okay, same stuff. Here's that E7 again. And then this is going to be that very strange. And now we're getting to the end of the song, so we're going to raise the octave. Okay. Actually, that was all the same, wasn't it? Now here's where we raise the octave. At the end of 42, so you hit your E7. No. So probably do exactly that. So take your little caret and draw it over the penny, right? So whoops. Undo. Red pen. The last two notes in 42, you want to hit those kind of hard, because now you're going to be bringing it into the hanger, right? Everything is the same. Okay, and look at the first chord in measure 43. This is why this instantly goes into the members section, because this is not something I want to get any texts on from newer players. When you see a wreck of numbers and you're like, what in the holy heck is that? Okay, you look for the low number, and that's a 4, and that's where your bar goes. That's going to be true 90% of the time. Bar on 4, you've got a 5 and a 6. That's your F shape. So again, we're just the world's famous B flat on 5. Guess what it is? A on 4. But we've got to get our pinky up on 7. Penny Lane. And here's the hard thing. It really is tough. You see I'm holding this fancy chord. People are like, oh, he really knows what he's doing. But the problem is not that chord. That chord we've done. You got to get your middle finger off of this string down to the bottom string to get that, to get the 5. And then you've got to immediately be down to, with the A with your pinky, back up. get all the way to there, and so that little section there, I spent. How long was I playing this song? Maybe half an hour, and I bet I spent 25 minutes just on those 4 measures, right? 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and into 48. So those 5 measures, 6 measures, whatever it is really going to require you to learn A chord, pinky up here on 7, middle finger, pinky, right? So I think probably less worried about getting my pinky on there. I really need to get my regular A chord on as quickly as possible. So I'm at the high A chord, middle, slide, not forgetting my pinky, but I want to get my A chord on because my thumb's going to be coming down. If you are claw picking this, it's even harder, right? No matter what, I would say that last chord there in 40, the first chord in 49, I think you want to basically stop the song and give yourself one of these, because then the next thing is so cute. Okay, and really gives, now if we haven't done vibrato before, let's talk about vibrato. Not tremolo, like that's what we do on ukulele all the time. Right, which is fun. But vibrato is different, right? So you're going to get 5, 4, and your pinky's going to be on 7, and then you're going to wiggle your pinky. Don't lift it up. Don't do anything. Just wiggle the heck out of it. Okay? And you can probably even hear that through the microphones here. Like that, right? I think that that's what we are talking about. And just let it fade out as you're vibratoing. Okay, you'll feel very much like a violin player. They vibrato all the time. So my thinking here is you're not going to have a terrible amount of problems with this. The repeats again are kind of intense, but you'll figure that part out. The real problem starts in at 43, and just, I don't know, maybe just give yourself permission to slow way down and just play that section slow. Penny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes, bong, 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 there beneath the blue suburban skies, dun, 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 bomb, Penny Lane. Right? So I just could not speed that up any faster today, even after I had memorized a little lick. It just is so fiddly that getting it right is going to be pretty challenging through that section. It sounds cool. It is correct on the page, but getting it out of this thing, a little bit tough. Elizabeth is asking, are you going to add anything from the orchestra parts of By the Light of the Silvery Moon for a solo version? And the answer is yes. In fact, I think I already have that, Elizabeth. I bundled that up for y'all, if I remember right, and I believe I might have I'll have to look. I'm pretty sure that I put in a tough ukulele version of it, but let me take a look. I'll look and then I'll toss you a note. But I think I made a tough ukulele version of the current piece you're playing in orchestra. And for those of you who don't know, who aren't participating in Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra, they're playing a really challenging version of by the light of the silvery moon. And I've been listening to them on the recordings, and they don't quite have it up to the speed I'd hoped it was, but they got it up to the sound I hope it was. And so it's sounding really amazing, with some real decorative things in there, and the hard decorative things. There's one point where they go, right, and they got to do that in one measure, and so that's probably the main thing that's holding back the whole orchestra from going a little bit faster. And the other problem with that song is I've been playing on harmonica for a bit with those guys, and it's not hard until it's hard, and then it's too hard, kind of thing. So I'll look at that, and we might put that up as one of our member songs to play one of these days, Elizabeth. That's a fun idea. Okay, so send me notes on this one if you see stuff that we need to talk about that we didn't. I love this piece of music, and if I can tuck my fingers into playing 43 to 48, I'm gonna really love this piece of music. And I think the song itself is actually kind of fun, and it's just people hanging around in Penny Lane. So there you go. No, you're fine, Elizabeth. All right, so there we go. So a little bit on By the Light of Silvery Moon, a little bit on Penny Lane, way too much on Obladi Oblada, and then I will really try to fix the baritone sheet on Norwegian Wood, so that maybe next week we will just play the same stuff. I don't know. I know for sure I need another week on Penny Lane. Also on the website, two things on the website. The Yellow Submarine and Octopus Garden we did as a medley, and so under both of those links it's the same piece. I don't work on those. I'm going to break them apart and fix some stuff on them. So don't work on Octopus's Garden or Yellow Submarine, because I'm going to work on those and make them complete separate songs with intros and outros and all the stuff that you do. And then for those of you who might be teaching some of this, and there's some of you that are should be even if you're not, under book 1, I have updated the sheet music for all of the ukulele sheets, except those associated with the arpeggios, but I've updated all of those to the modern format with the blue notes underneath in the standard notation. So all of those have been updated, and in fact the book 1 sequential order I've changed, put the chords way at the end. It's always been confusing when I do start off with a little bit of fingerstyle and then jump into chords and then jump back. It's just never been a great way for me to teach it, and so I'm just putting the chords at the end. And because it turns out Brahms' Lullaby has C, F, and G7 in it, which is exactly what you want. And the next song, Yankee Doodle, has C, F, and G, which is the hard one, right? And so the sequence there is actually much better. And so you just go, Frere Jacques, My Spaghetti Monster, Three Blind Mice, just to make sure people are understanding what breaststroke is, and then Brahms and Yankee Doodle. So it's a much better sequence that I have on that front page. So if you are teaching anybody to play ukulele, the sequence makes a little bit more sense now, and we'll keep this business of playing chords till the end. By then they know how to play, right? That's the problem with chords, is you really need to know how to play to do chords properly, and it's all about your right hand, and that takes a little bit of developing, which they do for the first 25 lessons or whatever. And then you can dive into chords and talk about the fact that, hey, it's time to start singing. You're 25 lessons into ukulele. Unless you want people to point and laugh, you have to sing. And then when you sing, they really point and laugh. So anyway, Kamos, you're welcome. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully some of this is sinking in. Hopefully some of this is valuable to you. I am running into terrible problems with my schedule, and so keep an eye on your emails. There may be some, there will be some changes coming up, but I'm not entirely sure what those are going to look like. And I want to make sure that of all the classes I teach, this is the one that I think is the most rewarding for me, in terms of, hey, we're working on this really high level stuff, and you guys are really high level players, and between all of us we can turn this into some some actual cool music that's really worth playing for other people. And you're probably not playing Yankee Doodle for too many other people. Although Book Two's got plenty of good stuff to play for other people. So, I don't know. I think I'm rambling. You guys have a wonderful night. And again, Elizabeth sent me some emails. I'm going to get to those. If you guys will send me emails, it just warms my heart to know that you're paying attention and listening. And I will see all of you next Wednesday, but between then and now, we have a Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra concert on Saturday, and then another one on Tuesday. And so it's a big week for ukulele, and so be involved with it. Check out the Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra website, along with the changes in Jolly Roger. And that thing is kicking out emails when I update the website, and so you should be getting those. And mainly play ukulele in all of the possible ways, and it will just enrich your life and make all of this a lot more fun. So that's enough for tonight. Have a great evening. Peace.